In this video, we will be looking at homework question number 10 from section 3.2. You have a wire that is 35 centimeters long. You wish to cut it into two pieces. One piece will be bent into the shape of a square. The other piece will be bent into the shape of a circle. Let A represent the total area of the square and the circle. What is the circumference of the circle when A is a minimum? So let's see what we can do with this. We know we're starting with a wire that is 35 centimeters long. So let's see what that would look like. We know that's 35 centimeters. Now we're going to break it into two pieces. One part is going to be used for the square and the other part is going to be used for the circle. So I don't know where I'm going to cut it. I'll just say we'll cut it here. We will use X for the square, and then what's going to be left for the circle is 35 minus X. Now when we shape this into this shape that's X long, when we shape that into a square, since we are taking the X length and dividing it into 4 sections, each side is going to be X over 4 centimeters long. Well, this letter A that it has us working with is supposed to be the area of the square, or at least that's part of what area is. So the area of the square, I'll use A sub s, is equal to length times width. So that will be X over 4 times X over 4, which is X squared over 16. That is the area of our square. Now next up, we are working with the circle. With the circle that we're working with, we know that the circumference of it is equal to 35 minus X because that's how much wire we have. The problem is our goal is to work with the area of the circle, which is given by pi r squared. That means I need to know the radius of the circle in order to be able to find the area of it. Well, right now I don't have the radius, but what I do have is the circumference. We know that circumference is equal to 2 pi r. That's the formula for it. And since we know that the circumference is 35 minus x, we get that 35 minus x is equal to 2 pi r. And if I solve for r by dividing both sides by 2 pi, I get r is equal to 35 minus x divided by 2 pi. I can then plug r into my area of a circle formula, and the area of our circle is equal to pi times 35 minus x over 2 pi, all of that squared. Well, I can multiply that out so that it looks a little bit simpler, hopefully. So the area of our circle is equal to pi times 35 minus x times 35 minus x is going to be 1,225 minus 70x plus x squared. I got that by FOILing out 35 minus x times 35 minus x. And that's over 2 pi times 2 pi, which is 4 pi squared. Now since I have two factors of pi in my denominator and one out front, I can cancel out one of those factors and we're left with the area of the circle being 1,225 minus 70x plus x squared over 4 pi. Alright, well they told us to let A represent the total area of the square and the circle, so that means our A value will be the area of the square plus the area of the circle. So if I plug in what I have for both of those, that's going to be x squared over 16 plus this guy right here, the 1225 minus 70x plus x squared, all over 4 pi. Now that looks like a really super gross expression. And if we want to combine it, we need to have a common denominator. Well, if I multiply this first fraction by pi in the numerator and denominator, then I have a denominator of 16 pi. If I multiply the second fraction by 4 in the numerator and the denominator, then that will also have a denominator of 16 pi. So let's see what that looks like. We will have that a is equal to pi x squared plus, I'm going to distribute the 4 through, 4,900 minus 280x plus 4x squared all over 16 pi. You'll notice that I have two x squared terms here, so I'm going to put those together. So I have pi x squared plus 4x squared. And then I'm going to put my x term next, which is the negative 280x plus 4,900 all over 16 pi. So our goal is to figure out what the circumference is of the circle when a is a minimum. Remember, this is what we're working with. This is a. So if I want to minimize this, then I need to find the vertex. Well, our vertex is given by x equals negative b over 2a. It's going to be a little tricky to find in this case, but we'll have negative, our b value is the coefficient on x. Now be careful because this negative 280x is over 16 pi. So we'll have negative 280 over 16 pi. So that's negative 280 over 16 pi over 2 times what a is. A is the coefficient on x squared. Well, we have pi and we have plus 4. So pi plus 4 over the 16 pi that is over as well. So let's see what we can simplify here. In my numerator, I have a negative times a negative, which makes a positive. So I have 280 over 16 pi. That is divided by, if I distribute my 2 through, then I have 2 pi plus 8 over 16 pi. I can keep, change, flip that. So I have 280 over 16 pi. Change to multiplication, flip it, 16 pi over 2 pi plus 8. The 16 pi's divide out, and then I'm left with 280 over 2 pi plus 8. You may have noticed I could factor out a factor of 2 and it'll end up canceling out. If I do that, then I'm going to get to 280 over 2 times pi plus 4, which reduces to 140 over pi plus 4. In the end, it's not going to matter. You'll see why. So we know what x value minimizes the a value that we just found, but it's asking for the circumference. If we go all the way back to when we were talking about circumference, circumference is 35 minus x. So in this case, it'll be 35 minus 140 over pi plus 4. Now be careful when you type it in the calculator. We want to make sure that we don't miss anything. We have 35 minus 140 divided by pi plus 4 equals 15.3965. It wants it rounded to 2 decimal places. So the circumference is going to be 15.40, and we were measuring in centimeters.